guys, welcome back to another week of building the Caldercraft HMS Victory. This week we're going to try and get the remainder of the parts fitted to the upper gun deck and perhaps a test fit of the next deck up. So to start with, we're going to be making the elm tree pump assembly, which is shown on plan number 3. So we need 2 part 85s. They come off a 4mm walnut sheet. We have a brass piece here, which is part number 497. We have another brass piece, which is 498, and then we needed a little bit of 0.7mm brass rod. Looks pretty straightforward to make it. The instructions say remove two elm pump bases, 85, which we've done, the 497, which I showed you, and the brass rod. We have to make a small loop in the brass rod, pass it through the pump handle, then insert the rest of the wire down through the hole in the base, and then at the same time glue the handle to the side, and then once that's done we paint it black and fit it to the ship. So I'll just get ready and we'll start. Okay, first off we'll glue the 2 part 85s together. That's actually a quick dry white glue, so while that's drying, it gets off my finger, we'll make a small loop in this 7mm brass rod, 0.7mm I should say. Use the end of my snips to get a reasonably small loop. Then once I get it closed I can I'm just going to put that through the small hole there. And hopefully close it off. Go, so that's through. Then we get the small brass piece, 497, that goes onto the brass rod. I don't need it this long, so I'll just cut it short enough to go through that base without protruding from the end. Then I'll use CA glue drops of CA on top. Then put the rod through the hole. We just need to glue that handle. Oops, too much glue. Then I'll just let all this dry properly and we'll paint it black and then fit it to the ship. I'm just painting it with a matte black. Doesn't actually tell you what to use, but I usually use matte most of the time. I probably should have actually primed that brass. If it doesn't come up that well, I might actually do that. But we'll see how it goes. It's not too bad. Okay, we'll leave that to dry and then we'll fit it to the ship. Okay, on plan number 3, it also shows us the location of the elm tree pump assembly. So that's the main mast hole. We've got the gratings each side of it. So it shows us precisely where to place it and the orientation. So I'll quickly switch over to the ship. Okay, I'll put a little mark where it's going to go. From the drawing I can see that the front edge of the base is level with the front of the mast hole, and where it sits is also in line with the edge of that grating frame, and then we just have to get the angle going off about 45-degree angle, something like that. So I'll get some glue on this piece. We're also going to have two, I'm not sure what they're called, they got legs and other pieces that come across from them either side of this as well. So we'll just give that a couple of minutes to dry and then we'll move on to the next part. So next up we have to make the steam trunk assembly. So we've got 4 parts, and it says although the front, back and sides are all the same size, the sides sit outside the front and back, making the finished assembly 3mm longer than it is wide. Then on the same sheet 3 it shows the location towards the bow where this will go, and we also have a plan view of that showing the location as well, just so we get it in the correct position. So I'll move all of this and we'll start putting that together. Okay, I'll just put some CA glue along the edge, and I'm just trying to make sure I line it up exactly. These pieces are rectangles, so it's actually the longer side goes up. I wasn't sure at first, but I looked at the drawing and I've got that quite right. There we go. And this, when it's fitted, will literally sit on the floor of the upper gun deck, and the top will touch against the deck above it. So that's it. So I'll grab the ship and we'll fit it. Okay, the measurements for the back of the structure is 32 millimeters from the hole. And just so I know exactly where the middle is, which way around does it go? Goes that way with the piece that's inside, so to speak. Back that way. So how wide is this? 28, so 14 millimeters is the middle. So it'll go like that. Okay, so I'll get some glue on the bottom of that. And literally just place it on that spot. True. 102, so that's in the correct spot. We'll leave that to dry, and I'll just find the instructions and we'll see what's next. And then next up, I believe we're making up the transom that sits, I think it's just below the next deck, but attached to it, if you know what I mean. So we'll make this up next. Okay, these are the parts of the frame, for lack of a better word. I think it's called a skid frame or something, I'm not sure. So we've got 6 part 72s, got part 378 on each side, and then 379 on each end. I've just done a test fit to make sure everything goes together and everything looks like it's going to line up fine. Wasn't any need for any major sanding or anything on it. What I'm going to do is glue this main part together, let it dry, and then I'll flip it over and put these parts on at the end. I think that'll be easier than trying to get it under and actually hold it up against those two parts. so we'll leave that for the end. I'm just going to use white glue, so I'll just get that ready. Start on this side. I believe when we put this on the quarter deck, this actually lifts up from the bottom into it, so we need to put this on before we fit the deck, I believe. I haven't read that far ahead yet, but it sort of makes sense to look at it that way. Just make sure that's still yep, that all right. So okay, we'll leave that to dry. Then as I said, we'll flip it over and add the final two pieces. Okay, that main part's now dry, so we'll flip it over. And the two end pieces, 379, you can see, I hope, there's a little notch in the corner, and that faces down into a matching notch on the end that actually sits in there perfectly. So I'll grab some glue. What I'll do is I'll just put the glue on the end of this piece. Just making sure that those side and end ones are the same height. go. So again, just going to leave that to dry, and then we're going to be painting it black. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick test fit with the quarter deck and the frame that we've made up. Quarter deck is number 446. We'll just see how it fits. And that's pretty well perfect. Reading ahead in the instructions, it actually says the deck is slightly lower than this frame. I'm guessing so when you plank it, it'll be level. At least that's what I figure. Anyway, so we're going to paint this black. Going to make the remaining couple of pieces for the upper gun deck, and then we're going to do another test fit on fitting this deck above it. I've actually had a change of mind. I'm not going to paint this black, even though instructions do say to do it. I'm just going to use some Danish oil to bring the colour out of it. I think it's going to look a lot better, and then I'll do the same with the remainder of the parts that go on this deck. Then once this dries, I'll just go over it with a varnish. I think it will look a lot better personally. Just looks like a really nice rich colour using this. That's the underneath. I mainly wanted to give it a try first just to see how it looks. I'm quite happy with the way that looks. I'll go ahead and do the other side and then we'll come back. Okay, we're going to be adding these parts here, and we won't be adding these ones, although I've cut them out already because they stick up through the quarter deck. But I've got them ready so we can do a test fit afterwards. But yes, with these ones, it's a little bit tricky. You can't tell from the top view, but if you look at the side view, which is right here, the back post, number 91, is fine. We can put that in place as well as part 162, which sits at the bottom, because that will be sitting below the deck. But the one on the other side, we can put this bottom piece in, but we're not putting this in until after we do the test fit, because it actually comes all the way up through the quarter deck. So we need to work out exactly where that has to be glued in place before we put the quarter deck down so it comes through correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 91 first because we can fit that. We'll make the other pieces up, but we won't fit them until we do that dry fit. So I'll get these pieces out and we'll do that first. Okay, before we start assembling this, first thing we have to take note of, the piece that will be sitting inside of the notch goes towards the bottom of it. And you can tell by the plans when you sit this with it, that comes out perfectly level with the bottom. The top is a good 2 millimeters too long, so I need to trim that off first before we start assembling this, because it's just going to be easier while it's in separate pieces. So I'm going to take the 2 millimeters off the top with each one of these. I'm then going to drill a hole in the bottom for a pin, just to make it more sturdy when it's fitted to the deck. And then I won't grab it out, but on the side plan you can see that this extends 10 millimeters beyond the upright post, which I've already measured on there. But first I need to trim this down. We'll put a pin in here, then assemble it, and then fit it to the ship. Okay, I'll cut them down. So all I'm going to do now, drill a hole in the bottom for the pin. This is a 0.8 millimeter drill bit. Just cut the head off that nail. Put a drop of glue on there. Place it. Okay, so that's one in there. There we go. So that's the two of them done. Now we can glue this together. As I said, it has to protrude 10 millimeters out from each side. I'll just get some glue. Okay, so that's 10mm out from each side. We'll just let that dry. And I'll do the same as what I did with the skid frame. I'll use some Danish glue on it and some varnish. I actually suspect we can't see this anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but I'll just do it just in case. And then we'll come back and make the remaining ones. Okay, this one's very similar to the other one. We put the cross beam in the bottom, again 10mm out each side. Already put the pins on this one. As I said, we can put the bottom one in, but we won't put the one that goes across the top, because this has to come up through the quarter deck, and we don't or we can't have this coming up through the deck if we've got that crossbar on there. So we won't do that until after we've fitted this in place properly, which won't be until we do that dry fit that we have coming up. So I'll just get some glue in here. And then grab our crossbar. And I've already marked 10mm, so we know exactly where it goes. So this one we won't actually fit to the deck yet. We'll wait until that dry fit that I keep talking about. And then I'll use that Danish oil again on this one as well. These pieces here are number 92. There's 4 of them. They also come up through that quarter deck, so I'm not going to fit those yet either. I've just got them cut out ready for that test fit I keep talking about. So I'll just put them aside and we should be able to fit that other part we made now. Okay, we're just going to fit this part we made earlier. It just sits directly in front of that grating, bow side of the mast hole. So I just line it up, and because we've got those pins on there, I can just push down and get a mark for exactly where we need to drill the hole. So I'll just grab my drill. And then we should be able to just line these holes exactly up and push them in. I'll just put a dot of CA on there first. And yes, they line up exactly, so just push that down. And because of those pins, that should hold it in nice and firmly. So there we go. Okay, just having a look at this quarter deck. As you can see, it's quite a bit wider than the actual opening at the top of the hull, as it was with that last deck down. So it might be a case that we're going to have to cut this one in half as well. Stick it in there, work out how much sanding or cutting we need to do on each side just to fit that. Because if I try bending that, there's a very good chance I'm going to snap it. So I'd rather just cut it down the middle and we'll just sneak up on getting it in the correct position. So I dare say that will be in the next video, because this could be a long process getting it right. So what we might do is we'll put in the deck supports next. Okay, we'll start putting these supports in place. First up we have number 23. Let's put some glue in where it sits. They're a tight fit, but they go in well. Just got to make sure they're level with the top of those tabs on each side. Next up is 24. As I said, they're quite tight. Just got to make sure it's nice and level up top there. So then we've got 25. And I'm putting glue in the wrong spot. There we go. Oh, I should have mentioned, yeah, this is curved at one side, and that side goes towards the top. So next one is 25, I think it is. 26, sorry. So I'll just move the camera to the other end of the ship. Okay, next up we have 33. And then it, which one is this? This is, should be 34. Knock it out, I can have a look. Yep, 34. Plan number 1 actually tells you which supports you need. Ah, 35 we've already glued in place when we put that screen in. So then we have 36. And then finally 37. Camera a little bit. And that will be the last of the quarter deck supports. Okay, that brings us to the end of this week's video. We got the pump built. We got this, it's got a name, I can't remember what that's called, but we also got the steam room made, as well as the frame that's going to be sitting in the quarter deck. I was hoping to actually get that quarter deck on this week, but just looking at what's involved in first getting it to fit in, we're going to have to cut it in half and then keep taking measurements until we can get it exactly in place. Then we have to get there's another one of these but taller that comes through the deck, and 4 posts at the front. That will also be coming up. So between that and actually fitting the deck after all that dry fitting, that's probably plenty for one video, I would say. So that'll be the next one, and then I'd imagine the video after that will be about planking that deck. So thanks for joining me, and hope to see you next time. Cheers.